Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Bats News to Me. I'm your excellent host, Reginald Winchester. Matthew Ferguson from Catmasters is here tonight to tell us a little bit about Catmasters and public speaking, of course. And with that, we'll move on to our top story. Our top story tonight is the days of reckless spending and running deficits are coming once again, as if it ever left with the current group of Republicans. Democrats apparently lead in races for 11 of 15 crucial Republican-held U.S. House seats, a month before the November 7th elections, putting them within reach of seizing control of the chamber, according to Reuters' Zogby polls released Wednesday. Republican incumbents are at a particularly high risk, the polls found, with 7 of 9 trailing their Democratic challengers in the high-stakes battle for control of the United States Congress. This is a dismal showing for Republicans, pollster John Zogby said. Republicans ought to be very, very nervous. The polls seem to indicate that all the Democrats need is a plan. However, that seems to be the very problem. They don't have one, other than the opposite of whatever President Bush is doing. Senator Kerry stated after reading this report,
"I actually had a plan before I didn't. At least we can agree that I have a plan."
In other news tonight, Harry Potter is the only reason school shootings happen in the United States. According to one Georgia woman, Laura Mallory, a mother of 4 from the Atlanta suburb of Loganville, told the Georgia Board of Education officer that the books by British author J.K. Rowling sought to indoctrinate children as practitioners of religious witchcraft, referring to the recent rash of deadly assaults at schools. Mallory said, "Books that promote evil, as she claims the Potter ones do, help foster the kind of culture where school shootings happen. That would not happen if students instead read the Bible," Mallory said. She added that the books were harmful to children who were unable to differentiate between reality and fantasy. The children, she said, tried to imitate Harry Potter and cast spells on classmates. "They're not educationally suitable and have been shown to be harmful to some kids," Mallory said. She argued that teachers did not assign other religious books, like the Bible, as student reading. It was Mallory's second public campaign against the popular fiction series, after trying to get her son's elementary school to ban the books in August 2005. Mrs. Mallory also proposed banning Hop on Pop because it promotes abuse of fathers, as well as Fox and Socks promoted immorality. She stated, "No fox that was only interested in lady foxes would have to have the wherewithal to wear socks." Breaking news from Japan. The biggest thing to happen to Japan since Godzilla ravaged downtown Tokyo. A Japanese mental health counselor recited pi to 100,000 decimal places from memory on Wednesday, setting what he claims to be a new world record. Akira Haraguchi, 60, needed more than 16 hours to recite the number to 100,000 decimal places. This solves the age-old question, which country is the coolest on Earth? Clearly Japan. Haraguchi, a psychiatric counselor and business consultant in nearby Moribaru City, took a break of about 5 minutes every 1 to 2 hours, going to the restroom and eating rice balls during the attempt. All of Haraguchi's activities during the attempt, including the bathroom breaks, were videotaped for evidence that will later be sent to for verification by the Guinness Book of World Records. This story has given millions of hope to people out there, as they have suddenly realized that they aren't, in fact, the biggest loser in the world. Our next story tonight, the Pentagon has apparently adapted a brilliant new strategy for the war on terror. Lawmakers included language in this year's defense spending bill, approved last week, allowing them to spend the money for commemoration of success in Iraq and Afghanistan was originally tucked into last year's defense measure, but went unspent amid an upsurge in violence in both countries that forced the Pentagon to extend tours of duty for thousands of troops. Republicans have yet to claim responsibility for the provision. Democrats say it was likely added by the Senate's majority Republicans, and less than 5 weeks from congressional elections are pointing to it as another example of where the GOP has gone astray handling the war in Iraq. Under the language, the president could designate a day of celebration to honor the troops serving in 2 wars. The president also could call on the nation to observe that day with appropriate ceremonies and activities, and issue awards to troops who have served honorably. The Pentagon could spend up to $20 million of its $532 billion budget in 2007 for the commemoration, minus any private contributions it might receive for such an event. This surge in optimism has led to a bold strategy shift for the Bush administration. The administration plans to carry that same strategy toward every aspect of its policies. The government is already planning a $20 billion party to commemorate paying off the national debt. $20 billion when every American can afford health care, and another $20 billion is set aside for when Iran and North Korea become our strongest allies. The latest scandal out of Washington. Mr. Foley resigned. Senator Foley from Florida, not Senator, Congressman Foley resigned after it emerged last week that he sent sexually suggestive emails to young men on his staff. the most senior Republican in the U.S. House of Representatives, is facing new charges over covering up a scandal. And now a very interesting report from our badass correspondent. He has been on a continental book signings tour, starting in the Ukraine and ending up in Brazil. He is now here reporting live from North Korea. Christopher Walken. Greetings, Mr. Walken. Are you there? Mr. Walken, come in. Can you hear us? Well, yes, Reginald, but please, call me Christopher Walken. All right, Christopher, so where are you right now? Right now, I'm standing at a nearby North Korean pep rally. A North Korean pep rally? Is that really where you are? Well, yes, they're all so excited they just can't hide it. Oh, yes, didn't North Korea just make a major worldwide statement after testing a nuclear bomb? Yes, they did. And what was that statement? They said, hey, we have nuclear weapons and we're not afraid to use them because we're going to test them because we're that damn cool. Is that what they really said? Of course, they've been shouting it all morning. So is everyone at the rally excited about the nuclear test? No. No? Then what are they there for? Oh, Reginald, you disappoint me. You should know that they're all here to shower me with love. The people of North Korea are rallying to show their love for you, Christopher Walken. Of course. Germans love David Hasselhoff, don't they? Why can't North Koreans love me? Well, I suppose you're right, but I can't believe that the North Korean government would allow this demonstration to support an American. You've underestimated me again, Reginald. And how precisely have I done that? You see, in 2 years, there's a certain election coming up in our country. The election of a new president of the United States. And Christopher Walken will be winning that election. You are running for president? Of course. I mean, look at Bush now. You think that I can't do a better job than that? But do you even know anything about politics? I'm an actor, like Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon wasn't an actor, Christopher. That's because he was a bad actor. Okay, Mr. Walken, that's Christopher Walken, and I have the support of every single North Korean in my bid for the presidency of the United States. But Christopher, Walken, they can't vote. Oh, damn, you're right, but visit my website, walken2008.com. Very good. I'm sure our viewers will go right away after this performance here. You know, this rally could use some music, perhaps a little more cowbell. Come on, play some music. I'm Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken, everyone. We'll be right back.
Good evening, America. It's me, former President Bill Clinton. I come before you tonight to talk to you at a very serious time in our nation's history. This time is terrible. In our Capitol Hill, we have scandals. We have former Congressman Mark Foley resigning over a sex scandal. We've never heard of sex scandals in our country. This is the first one that has ever arrived. I mean, if I got impeached over something I didn't even do, then Republican Mark Foley should at least go to jail. Sending sexually explicit text messages to underage congressional pages, that's disgusting. Former President Bill Clinton is outraged at these states of events. More tales and more corruption have been coming out of the Republican Party ever since this story broke. Former Speaker of the current Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert, has also been implicated in these charges. And I urge you on voting day to vote these people out, because our country needs good leaders, good Democrat leaders. Everyone should support Hillary for president in 2008. That means former President Bill Clinton gets to come back to the White House. And you know that I don't support the war. I'm a lover, not a fighter. America, I feel your pain about how things are going in this country. And that's why I urge you to vote Democrat, so we can go back to a time of binding ourselves to the will of the United Nations, raising taxes, and trying once again to have universal health care. Together, we can build a bridge to the 21st century. With your help, America. Good night, and God bless.